Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Castlevania, the final 3 episodes of Season 2. So, yeah, I know earlier in that little update video I said I was going to do the pre-thoughts and everything before I left to the bar, but honestly, I never got around to doing it. So I just got back, and we're just going to get to it now. We're going to do the pre-thoughts, we're going to do the reaction, the afterthoughts, all that jazz. So, final 3 episodes. This season has been slow-paced, but that's not a bad thing. I could see how some people might find it a little jarring, considering how fast-paced Season 1 was. But look at it this way. Season 1 was 4 episodes. This season was 8. It was double that. So, honestly, it makes sense. Season 1 was only so fast-paced because it was only 4 episodes. Because they had to get through that entire story arc in a short amount of time. This time, they're focusing on building up the characters and the story instead of giving us this fast-paced action, which I think helps the series. It helps these characters who in the first season honestly felt a little underdeveloped. And it helps even bring new development in depth to the bad guys, which is altogether necessary. So yeah, this season has focused a lot on that, and I think it's been great. So with our bad guys, they're planning to go with this attack now on Carmilla's suggestion. Dracula's kind of just going along with it. He doesn't really have a strong opinion, though he's kind of apathetic towards everything right now. And really, the only reason the others are going along with it are because of, well, really, it's mutually beneficial at this point. Godbrand is dead, but no one knows it except, obviously, the one who killed him. So, yeah, that's interesting in and of itself. And I think Carmilla definitely doesn't know, and she's one who is seemingly wondering where he's at, so yeah, there is that. Meanwhile, our heroes have been at the library underneath the ruins of the Belmont Mansion. While there, Trevor found the Morning Star, the highest upgraded form of the vampire killer. They found a bunch of information and stuff, and we got some sweet moments with our main characters, even to a smaller degree, Alucard. But it was definitely some good moments with Sypha and Trevor. Now, again, these are the final 3 episodes. I don't know what's going to happen in them. I don't know other than my theories, and honestly, the only thing we can say for sure is that the attack is going to happen, and that something's happening to the, above the library in the Belmont Mansion. We don't know exactly what. I'm excited to find out, though. This is going to be a long trek, because we are in my bedroom, as I mentioned in the pre-thoughts. I don't know when my father's going to get home from bowling, so it's just safer to do things in here for now. And I'm doing this pretty much right after I came home. The only thing I did before coming in here to record was use the restroom. As you can see, I'm still dressed. I still have my scarf, my top, my breasts on, all of that jazz. Yeah, I'm fully dressed. I'm not even worrying about it. Right now, we're just going to get in with this. So, let's do so. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay. That did not go how I thought it was going to. I expected a siege on Castle Dracula, both from, well, mostly just from Carmilla's group. I actually did not think our heroes were going to meet Dracula, much less kill him. Like, that was such a huge surprise. And now Carmilla's our main bad guy. That's a wild twist. Because Dracula is the main villain of the entire Castlevania series, and unless they plan to bring him back somehow, it's just like, he did. And again, he has come back multiple times after death in the Castlevania games, so it's fully possible. But either way, so let's talk about this. These last 3 episodes were the climax of the series. The attack on Brayla, orchestrated by Carmilla, and her betrayal on Castle Dracula, as well as, the inevitable attack on the Belmont estate, and our heroes ending off this big journey. So yeah, the first of these 3 episodes was mostly just the attack on Brayla and the beginning of the assault on Dracula's castle. And the second was the finish, the end of the assault on the castle, and the fight against Dracula himself. While the final episode was kind of just the aftermath scene where the survivors of the big battle have gone to and what they're doing. So there's not a lot to talk about with the battle itself, the assault on the castle and the battle against Brayla and all of that. One big thing to note is it's interesting that they brought back the priest, voiced by Matt Frewer. He was a big part of Season 1, because, I mean, he's one of the ones who ordered Dracula's wife be killed in the first place. And on top of that, he also was a driving force in Greshit. So to see that they brought him back to life just to bless the water so that Carmilla could take out Dracula's forces was kind of hilarious to me. Just the fact that he was brought back as a vampire's thrall. This priest who was a horrible person, but in the end was so against these evil undead creatures, of course, that he ended up becoming enslaved to one. And it's such beautiful irony, especially because of how terrible of a person he was. But yeah, that was interesting. And the fact that Dracula chose to spare Isaac by throwing him into the desert, using that mirror, is wild. Like, he shows that he truly did care for Isaac. Huh. But now we know that Isaac is starting his own army. Carmilla, meanwhile, is heading back to her home, along with her new pet, as she calls him, Hector. And she's going to basically be getting ready to start the new war against the humans as well. And then, of course, there are our heroes. Alucard is remaining at Castle Dracula and the Belmont Library, which have now kind of come into one. And he's going to just watch over the place. Just remain there and I guess eventually maybe start some villages or something? I don't know. Maybe invite people to come in and just start a new, fresh life. But the big thing is definitely, with the end with our heroes, is of course Trevor and Sypha going off together to basically just have more adventures and continue to fight undead wherever it may be. Obviously that's going to tie into next season. I don't know how Alucard is going to yet, but they're definitely going to. There's definitely a romance here. They didn't kiss, unfortunately, but it was still obvious. They didn't need to say it. They didn't need to show them kissing. They didn't need to proclaim their love in any outlandish way. It was obvious. The way they looked at each other, the things they said specifically. Yeah, and I kind of like that it was a little more subtle and a little more drawn back, kind of in the same style of shows like The Legend of Korra. So yeah, it's really, I really appreciate that. And at the same time, of course, they're definitely building up to something bigger, I guess, but the thing is, I still don't know what that's going to be, because how do you take a step up from Dracula as the main villain? I mean, Carmilla is the main villain. Yeah, she'll be a great main villain. But it's just like, you had Dracula. I don't know. These were 3 amazing episodes, but I'm definitely going to have to see them again. I know Blind Wave did reactions, so I'll probably watch them again with those reactions. And it's just like, I've got to think about these before I can really say anything. There was a lot to digest, and I think I got most of my just thoughts on the moment out during the reaction. Such as mentioned how Isaac and Hector kind of ended off the season in the complete opposite roles, with Hector being slave to Carmilla, while Isaac had his own slave, and the start of his army and all. And it was very obvious that they were trying to show the difference between them there. It'd be interesting if somehow their roles were reversed in the end, though. If Isaac was like brought down into a more servile state in a way, while Hector ends up becoming maybe a new main villain. That would be interesting. Especially considering how timid Hector tends to be, just in general. He's not a very outgoing type of person, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know where this could go from here on out with this 3rd season. There's a lot, of course, that wasn't incorporated from all the games and everything I remember from that. Like, Death wasn't in it, obviously. I don't believe the Medusa heads were shown in it at all. So there's still a lot more through the games, and I'm sure they could do plenty more with Carmilla as a main villain, and having Isaac and everything, starting his army as well. It's just, I have no idea how they're going to step it up. Because that's the thing, with every season of any show, you want to step it up. You want to make it more impactful and make it feel bigger than before. Because otherwise, it will always feel like a letdown if it's not as big or bigger than the last season. And that goes for any show. And with a series like this, you definitely have to do that. But again, it's like, how do you take a step up from Dracula? He is one of the greatest fictional villains of all time. I have no idea how they're going to improve upon this, but I have faith that they will. This series is fantastic. It does its job in excess. All of the characters are interesting. They all have this amazing depth to them. And they're all just really cool, to be honest. It's great to see the action. It's great to see the down moments, which this season admittedly had a lot more of than season 1. But as I mentioned in my pre-thoughts, that was kind of necessary. And it's great to see the care that's put into this series. It feels like the people who made this understand this kind of story. The story of a legendary family of hunters and their eternal war against the forces of evil. It's a type of story that's been done many ways all throughout history. And Castlevania has always been one of the more popular in recent memory. And again, I just have no clue where this is going to end up. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes. There's so much potential and so much possibility. I don't know how many episodes Season 3 is planned to have. I just, again, remember hearing that Season 3 has been confirmed. Honestly, I would be fine with another season of just 8 episodes. I think it works. But if they wanted to add in more, I'd be fine with that too. Either way, yeah, again, I'll have to watch this more to get a lot more thoughts, but I think I got most of what I really wanted to say out during the reaction. So if you do have anything else you want to ask me about, or anything you want to mention, or any comments or questions or anything like that, leave those down in the comments below. And thank you so much for tuning in. As I mentioned in my video where I announced how late this reaction was going to be, I did already mention what will be replacing this starting next Thursday, and that will be the return of OKKO, Let's Be Heroes. I'm excited to get back into it, and I'm so glad I didn't end up waiting as long to get back to it as I did with Loud House. Yeah, I'm excited to see more of Shannon, excited to see more of Carol and Mr. Gar and KO himself. Plus, I do remember hearing that the series does start to get a lot more serious and focused as it goes on. I don't know any specific details. I have heard that small little thing about it. Either way, yeah, so I'm excited to get back to that. That will start again next week. So thank you so much for tuning in, and for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See you all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,